Hello everyone. I want to introduce you to the artwork of Gareth Sleightholme. He's the proposed artist on Xecutioners for Space Warp. And with Gareth's permission, I'd like to take you through his amazing artwork. And just to put this in context, I think my storyline went up on the Millsverse on the Monday, and I think by the Wednesday or Thursday Gareth had sent all these astonishing images in. I'm absolutely humbled by it. It's like, my God. And I've only had a very quick look at the images because I wanted to get my first reaction to them on film, on video. So you can actually, so you're part of the process of the comic being created. But just from that first quick look, I knew he had cracked it like, anyhow, I'm not going to ramble on. Let's look at the artwork. And before I look at it, as you cast your eye over the art, I just want to say one more thing, that Gareth has this gift that so many great artists have, like Brian Bolland and Dave Gibbons and so on, that he makes it look easy. So when I look at it, I think, oh yeah, you know, I could do that. Of course, I know I couldn't do it in a million years. And the other thing that's thrilling for me is when I wrote this picture description of the Xecutioners wearing aprons, I was thinking, oh my God, you know, is this really going to work? You know, or are artists going to sort of either screw it up or make it look like it's a really stupid and silly idea? And that's the talent of a fantasy artist, that he's made it look really cool. So, okay, here we go. Now, the characters in question are this guy, Chaval, and this lady, Zola. And one of the other things that Gareth has really picked up on is that Zola is actually taller than Chaval, which is a kind of turnaround from what you would normally expect. And there's reasons for that because of the world they live in and so on. But it's nice to go against the usual stereotypes. And for readers of my Read 'em and Weep series, Goodnight John Boy, you'll know that these characters are actually based on Joy and Dave. So I could imagine Dave, you know, the editors of this fictional comic, Space Warp. And Joy is actually very beautiful, but very petite. So it was obviously her desire to appear as a 7-foot Amazon. And I think Dave would have been too intimidated to argue with her because she might be small and petite, but she's also Glaswegian. And Dave, in turn, and this is Gareth's idea. I said one of the characters could be black or mixed heritage or whatever, and he's picked up on that, and I'm really pleased about that as well, because Dave has a very strong affinity with black culture, as once again readers who've been following the Read 'em and Weep series. So here I am really studying these for the first time and looking at Chaval, who started off as Dave, and Zola, who started off as Joy. And yeah, they're looking pretty darn good. So now we come to the second row, and again, these are all looking good to me. And this image, I think, really says it all, because the Xecutioners, they execute extraterrestrials. Not all extraterrestrials, only the bad guys, and this clearly is a bad guy. And so that image for me is It's pretty iconic, and I love this character here as well. So, okay, so that is page 2. And this is the bottom section of page 2. And this is something else that's really gratifying, because I wanted these characters to not wear helmets all the time or anything like that. So it's like, how do they look without their helmets? And I think the answer you can see is pretty darn good. And these aprons that they wear are smart aprons with all kinds of devices in them and so on, and inspired by radiographers' aprons. I saw this absolutely hellish image of one. I thought, hey, is there room for another future cop, alongside Martial Law, Judge Dredd, and all the others? And hey, I think there is, and I think we're looking at them. So now this is the next bit where it gets tricky, because there are so many variations. Now look at this, and I'm not going to eat up loads of everyone's time while I study them all individually, because on a first look they all look so damn good. I mean, this is so professional, and you may well have your favorite choice, and I probably by the time this goes up on film I will have already decided. But if you say no, I think it should be 3 or 4. I mean, they all look so darn cool, and at the moment I can't honestly say that there is one that's just on these early pages jumping out at me more than the others. They are all the stuff of nightmares. So now we move on to page 4, and this is where we see our cops in civilian outfits. And so this is Chaval, and this is Zola, and yeah, they look pretty good to me. And it's as I say, she's certainly Chaval is tall, but Zola is taller. And on this page, I guess that image probably jumps out the most at me. So I'm just going to make a note of that, put a tick there. But I could just as easily go back and find others. But yeah, I mean, he does look the business. So, okay, here we go. So we're now moving on to the second half of page 4. These guys are making me laugh. It's an interesting one, because I mean, I like the guy with I'm not sure which one it is, the guy or the lady with the skin tube mask, and with all the straps and everything. I don't know. My guess is at the moment I'm still rooting for this one, which is number 5. But there may well be some of you who are going, no, go for number 12. So if you have any special thoughts,
Brad, is that number 5 does that relate to number 5 on here?
No.
Oh, right, that's different.
It's number 5 on page 4.
On page 4,
I mean, there's just an amazing amount of work here.
A wealth of design.
And Gareth, you're going to spoil me, because I'm just not used to getting this kind of deluxe treatment from artists. It's amazing. This one, I think, because it looks a little like an 18th century hat. But it's very interesting again, and this one again is perhaps even less friendly than the others. But I mean, of course, once you see him in the full splendour of his apron, and it's, as I say, it is such a vindication, because when I first came up with the idea of what about a future cop who wears a long leather apron like something out of Chainsaw Massacre? I thought, you know what, this could go really badly wrong. And 4 marks to Gareth, it hasn't. At the moment, as I say, I'm still rooting for the one I've ticked, but let's move on to more of them. And yeah, I mean, for me, this is just gets better because what's nice to see is the back view, because that's got to look cool too, and yeah, it shows that they don't go around in these uniforms all the time. Now, I think Zola looks particularly good there. I mean, I don't have a complete artist's imagination, so when I see it, I go, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I don't, it's like, to me, that really, I must tick that one as well, because she's just that little bit more feminine here, perhaps, rather than the earlier one, where that's a little harsh for my taste, but I mean, I have to take the readers into account as well. But my feeling is that they would root for this a little easier character here, and obviously I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether they wear the same hoods, masks, or alternative ones. Possibly they wear different ones each, so that you can go, that's Zola, rather than which one is that? Oh, it's got to be the tall one. Okay, and buckles instead of eyes, single circular button contact for apron or neck. Yeah.
I think that says control.
Oh, right. Right. Button control. Okay, cool. That's a great image here. Really like that. That's quite something. Okay. Now, so here we have a group. This chap, he's probably turned up before, but it's the first time I think I've seen him. So this one is, this is number 5, and it's number 5 here as well.
And
right.
He's got little ears though, hasn't he?
Is he?
This one here.
Oh, right. Oh, well spotted.
Maybe he's just perked them up. Maybe they lie flat sometimes.
Yeah, my first thought would be no to the ears, just in case it might make him look a little gentler, shall we say.
I think this one is, I mean, it's fantastic, but what do you think? Possibly a little too gimp?
Well, I was going to say I was searching for the word, but yeah, it's a classic gimp mask, and therefore I think we want to sort of stay more with the radiographer, but what's also fascinating here is we see these guys in full length profile, and we've certainly got to have at least one image of them in the story where they are that big on the page, so they really have that kind of impact, and that image suggests to me that that Gareth may or may not want to do perhaps a private commission or something, because when you see this, the title that comes to mind is Night of the Executioners. Are they looking for you? So now we're on to the final page, and this is interesting again because it has a grey halftone here, and I think clearly that there's probably a reason for that, so we can see more of the detail. But yeah, it has to be black, doesn't it? Really, joining all the other future cops and things. And in terms of guns, right? Just casting my eye down, that looks like it may require more detailed study as to which one to go for. Decisions. And clearly there is also some real logic behind these choices. You know, Gareth's obviously really thought about his characters and he's thought about their weapons. And so there will be a reason why it is like that. I mean, the guns, as I say in my story outline, are designed to deal with different gravities on Saturn's numerous moons. And they're also designed to deal with different aliens. So, right, after that, pour myself a cup of tea and have a further ponder on this. But I hope you found that interesting to share this real wow moment with me, and I'll keep everyone posted on how it progresses. So thanks.